Shiba Inu appears to be gearing up for an absolute explosion in price. Let's talk about what's happening, why Shiba Inu is absolutely pumping right now, what we can expect to see in the coming days. Let's dive into it. So first of all, Shiba Inu right now is going up quite a bit. You guys can see over here on CoinMarketCap, Shiba Inu right now up basically, what are we at? 6% currently on the 24-hour. Volume though, this is a big one. Volume's up 50% over the past 24 hours. Massive spikes in volume. Might be wondering, why is the price not going up a lot more if volume is up 50%? Well, this is something that we talked about in a video just the other day. If you guys have not seen that, after you're done with this video, make sure you go ahead, check out that video. But basically, simple term summary here of what is going on in my opinion. Of course, not financial advice, it's just my opinion. But what I think is a lot of people wanted to buy the rumor, sell the news of Shibarium. Shibarium ended up launching, having problems, which caused price to drop very fast, which meant that a lot of people who wanted to buy the rumor, sell the news, were not able to do the sell part because the price had declined. So there were a lot of people, in my opinion, who were holding off, waiting to sell for Shiba price to show some stability. Right now, there's a ton of volume. And so what I think is happening here is you have price going up because people are overall excited about Shibarium. The hype of Shibarium is coming back again as we're getting so close to Shibarium relaunching. But I do think that there's a decent number of people that have been waiting to do their major sells, and they are starting to do those right now. That's what I think is happening. Now, my guess is that if we can actually maintain this upwards momentum, even if it's small, guys, even if it's maybe 2 or 3% every day for the next 48 hours, so the next 2 days, I think what we can expect to see is that price just start to explode after that point. Because I believe within the next 48 hours, all those people who are waiting to sell off with the launch of Shibarium will have sold, assuming we maintain price going up and volume stays high, of course. But if we can make that happen again for like the next 48 hours, the vast majority of people who wanted to sell on the launch of Shibarium will probably have sold, which means once we get Shibarium to actually go live again, hopefully within also about 2 to 5 day time range, we could see Shibarium actually cause the Shiba Inu price to explode up. I would be surprised if we don't go up 25% off of the Shibarium launch, assuming we meet these different conditions. Now, there's something very interesting with Shiba Inu, a very interesting opportunity that I've been looking at pretty seriously for quite some time. You might be wondering, what is that amazing opportunity? Well, let me talk about it right now. So first of all, when we look at Shiba Inu, we can see so many people hold Shiba Inu. Right here, we can see that right now on the Ethereum network, there's over 1.3 million different wallets that hold Shiba Inu. A lot of people in our Shib army, in our Shib community, which, hey, congrats, guys. There are so many of us. We are such a strong force. We are a force to be reckoned with. We are doing great out here. But what's interesting is that when we actually go ahead and we compare that to something like Bone, which right now is actually absolutely running recently, you can see Bone is exploding. This is what I was going to be talking about. Bone up right now about 8% since basically I started recording this video, which is pretty crazy for us to see. But what I was talking about, what I think is such an interesting opportunity, when look at the holders of Bone, there's only 88,000 people who hold Bone. And if you're not aware, in order for you to actually use Shibarium, you're going to have to use Bone as a transaction fee. You can see right here on the Shibarium page, it talks about getting Bone. And the reason for that is that if you want to use Shibarium, you have to have Bone in your wallet. You can't interact with Shibarium without Bone. Bone is like your Ethereum for the Ethereum network, or Bone is like Matic on the Polygon network. It is the main cryptocurrency for the network that's going to be used as a transaction fee. So without Bone, you can't transact on the network. And the fact that so few people actually hold Bone, in my opinion, means that there's going to have to be a double or a tripling in the number of people who hold Bone for us to actually see them use Shibarium network. And now, obviously, they're going to be holding Bone on the Shibarium network, not on the Ethereum network necessarily, but that's probably where they're going to acquire the Bone, is on the Ethereum network. And again, we're only seeing 88,000 people that hold Bone on the Ethereum network right now. Most of the balances will go over to the Shibarium network, but no one could really do that right now. So when we look at this, this is a good gauge for us right now in this point of time. It might not be as good as a benchmark in the future, but it's something that we can look at right now and see, wait a second, less than 100,000 people hold Bone, but over 1.3 million people hold Shiba Inu. That doesn't make sense. If people want to use the Shibarium network, they're going to have Bone, which means Bone is going to see some explosion, in my opinion, as far as volume and market cap. Again, Bone right now, volume's actually down right now, which is quite interesting. And this volume number is very small. We're talking less than $10 million worth of Bone 24-hour volume. I can see that explode beyond $100 million once we get that launch of Shibarium, which of course would help with positive price action. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but I think Bone has a lot of potential. We also talked about this the other day, and if you guys have not seen this already, a quick summary for you guys. This is the Shibarium scaling update number 4. They were giving us basically daily updates, which is really great. You need good communication in times like this where you have these technical difficulties, you had all this excitement, things are getting shut down. This basically outlined, at least the way that this sounds to me to a lot of the people, sounds like they're going to be launching Shibarium here within the next probably 2 to 5 days, a very short time window for us to expect to see Shibarium, which is really exciting because we can finally use Shibarium again and get so many people on that network. They got spammed with hundreds of millions of requests within just a couple minutes. So there's a lot of people who want to utilize the Shibarium network. It's going to be a major competitor to Polygon, for example. And I think one thing that we're seeing that's shocking some people, including myself, is we're seeing a lot of builders for the Shibarium network right off the bat that I was not expecting. A lot of other people were not expecting. We obviously heard about Shib, the metaverse. We heard about some of these different projects that are going to be building on Shibarium, but we didn't know, at least a lot of us, including myself, didn't know we'd have this many different projects. This is a screenshot of all the different projects that are going to be building on Shibarium. And this is so important because for people to utilize Shibarium, right? If you want to actually utilize Shibarium, you need a reason to use it. Seems obvious, but it's something that so many networks just lack. They don't really have use cases. Maybe you're going to do a simple exchange out of DEX, and that's it. You're not going to do anything else. You're going to use a decentralized exchange. That is it, and swap between some different cryptocurrencies. You guys can see right here, we have so many different utilities that are building here. There are games in this list. There are decentralized exchanges, of course. There's some casinos, I believe, in this list. There's a lot of different utilities, a lot of different options for you to actually utilize the network, which will contribute to the burns of Shiba Inu. If you guys are not aware about this, I have a whole dedicated video breaking down the burns, but basically, as we transact on a network, a percentage of that transaction fee, 70% of the base fee, is gonna go to burn Shib, which is really exciting. We could be burning millions of dollars on this Shib every single day if we get enough volume on this network. So it's really up to us to determine what do we want to burn, right? There's not a set number that's gonna be burned. It is up to us. It's up to the Shib army to determine how much Shib is gonna be burned on a daily basis, monthly basis, whatever you wanna look at. That comes down to us and how much we use the network. But for us to use the network, we need all of these different projects to be launching on Shibarium. So I'm super excited to see how the Shibarium launch is gonna go. I think it's gonna be a top layer 2 solution out there. One of the top blockchains being utilized. So if you guys want to stay up to date with all that amazing Shibarium news, make sure you guys subscribe down below so you don't miss out on that content. And so as we look towards what can we expect to see with Shiba Inu in the coming days, again, obviously Shiba Inu price has been on a downward trend for quite some time. Again, buy the rumor, sell the news. Rumor time was basically within here, ran up, people started selling up in here, and then we have been on a decline ever since. So again, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of an event. But what I expect we could be seeing, I believe Shiba Inu is kind of oversold right now. You guys can see from the top up here, basically around the 1.1 level right now, we are down at about 8.4. So we're down roughly 25%, a massive decline in value for Shiba Inu. I believe that we are oversold. Obviously, there was hype and excitement that did not get met because Shibarium had problems. Everyone knows that now, everyone acknowledges that, but Shibarium is going to be launching here again very soon. And I think that we were oversold. I think there was definitely more hype than deserved. So that it probably makes sense that there was going to be some kind of a sell-off. I don't think a 20-25% sell-off makes sense. I think Shiba Inu is going to gain a net positive value out of this. Another way you could look at this is if you look at the price beforehand, we are basically at the same price that we were before this massive run up in price for Shiba Inu, which essentially says, right, we got news about Shibarium, price went up, it was overvalued, price went back down. It should probably go between before where it was before and where it spiked up to. That makes sense in the sense that you have Shibarium now. You have this new value proposition that's bringing more value. So the price should in theory be higher. Maybe it doesn't deserve to be as high as it ran up, but maybe it should be in this range right in here because it's worth more than it was before, but maybe it's not worth as much as people expected it to be. So this is where I could see a strong rebound for Shiba Inu. This is what I'm looking at, guys. Of course, not financial advice. These are just my opinions, but if you guys want to stay up to date again with all important news, make sure you're also following the official Twitter accounts for Shiba Inu and for Satoshi. That's going to give you all the updates. I assume as soon as Shibarium goes live again, we'll get another post just like this announcing that Shibarium is live. We can use it and we can all have some excitement and some great times utilizing the network and seeing what do the burns look like. And so if you guys want to know what are the Shiba Inu burns gonna look like, make sure you guys go ahead, check out my video on that one. Or if you want to know what is happening with the Shiba Inu scaling issues, what are we seeing as far as improvements, all that, make sure you also go ahead, check out those videos, and I'll catch you all in the next one.